Hello and welcome to the East Lampeter Township Public Meeting. All participants are now informed that this meeting is being recorded. This meeting is also being offered virtually utilizing Zoom, which is a cloud-based platform for remote video and audio conferencing. The Zoom application is free to the public. The general public is therefore able to join the meeting by connection through the internet or by calling in by phone. The public is also able to observe the meeting on the Township's YouTube channel. Please continue to check the Township website calendar for any updates related to these public meetings. Agendas for these public meetings will also be available on the Township's website. Please be reminded that this meeting is being video and audio recorded and will be posted to the Township's YouTube channel for viewing. The meeting will now proceed with the chairman calling the meeting to order and identifying all other members present in the meeting room and those joining the meeting via Zoom. The chairman will then confirm those members joining by Zoom can be heard.
Okay, welcome to the October meeting of the East Lampeter Township Sewer Authority. And members present are Todd Stump, myself, Rick Robinson, Fred Clark, and Vinnie Patel. Township representatives Ralph Hutchison, Charlie Thomas, and Tara Hitchens. And from our engineering firm, it's Mr. Matt Seachy. And I don't think we have anybody on Zoom, so I'm gonna invite you to join us to pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We've had the minutes now for at least 2 weeks. If there's any additions or corrections, we're going to stand approved as written. Treasurer's report, sanitary sewer.
We have checks that need written in the amount of $4,788.38. And as of the end of September, we have a checking account balance of $5,262.47.
Motion to pay any requisitions?
Yes, there are 3 requisitions that require action. The first is requisition number 03-649. This requisition is a transfer of funds between from your 2023 project fund to your 2019 project fund. We have previously authorized a requisition to pay one of the city projects out of the 2019 project fund. That requisition was more than the available money to come out of 2019 project fund, so the trustee ultimately required the transfer of some money from 2019 project fund, 2023 project fund into 2019 project fund. This one, because of timing, was the chairman and secretary had signed this back on October 2nd, the ratification of that requisition. And it's a transfer of $161,680.58. The next requisition is number 03-650. This is a transfer of funds from the 2019 project fund back to the 2023 project fund. So because of the end of the month, there was some interest that was gained on the monies in the 2019 project fund. And this would transfer any of the remaining project funds from 2019, of which it was $1,935.85. Plus that subsequent interest back in the 2023 project fund, leave a balance of $. And the last is requisition number 03-651, which will be for payment to Herbert Warren Grubick for projects including South Front Pump Station, Rockvale redevelopment, flow monitoring, Strasburg Pike Sewer Extension design and permitting, Austin Road sewer lining project, and the The Oaks Pump Station 2 elimination project and the Stoughton Station 1 alignment project. This is in now $21,727.36.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Vote. So moved. This one's the same, so we'll check it. Stormwater.
We have invoices that didn't pay the amount of $54,322.41. And we have a checking account balance of $24,107.26. So, more access to me, even though I am the treasurer, for some money.
That actually is after payment.
Oh, every payment. So we're all good.
I just had a question about the bill. The attorney of Powell Yost and Sadiq, was that like for stormwater fees that people didn't pay that we were filing liens against people?
Probably goes into the is the county solicitor.
It is for liens that are filed against property owners.
For them not paying probably. Do we have like an amount that people have not paid, like 10% out there haven't paid, or 3%, or we have a lot of people that haven't been paid that we have to go after?
The ones that get to this point are ones that haven't paid on their accounts for their. What percentage don't pay their regular monthly bill?
Okay, looking for a motion to pay the bills for East Lampeter Sewer.
Hey, that's Joe. Stormwater.
In a second, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? Okay. Sanitary sewer, Southland upgrade.
The pump manufacturer, Gorman Rupp, is sending their resident vibration active engineers to the pump station on November 7th for a site visit. We coordinated with township staff and other equipment suppliers to be available that day as well. Let's early in the year. They Gorman Rupp has a couple items. Changing some frequencies of GFDs, looking at motor speed below the natural frequency of the motor by changing out the V-belt drives. So we're going to take a look at that information there, but it's
CFA.
The Oaks Pump Station 2 elimination project, included in your packet is the preliminary design drawings for the alignment. Pages in there that show which are having those potential areas that the property we approach about the potential with easements. Really, that one's for the strata. Yeah. So we'll get to it with that now. So the bottom page, the bottom drawing says one. That starts down then where near volleyball corner is, the existing sewer in that single direction. There, the proposed black line is the new sewer line. The rectangular box is the boring pit that would be needed. Like across Route 30 So basically all the work on that side would be on Mr. Nisley's property, that he has on the western side of Route 30 there. Then crosses into the PennDOT easement there for Route 30, or the PennDOT property for Route 30. Then proceeds to go back onto Mr. Nisley's property on the eastern side, and he cuts across at an angle until you get up to the homeowners association property where they have their stormwater base before getting onto the pump station site. Basically, the two impacted properties, I would say, would be Mr. Nisley, his two parcels, and the homeowners association property. All other work on the volleyball corner side would be through existing paths. It doesn't have the next steps would be to, if you're comfortable with the meeting on this, start the session again. Before getting his approval, so you move forward with some geotechnical investigation work. Yeah, the other thing we can add to this, I can show is I'm looking at roughly a small year 30-foot wide permanent easement, roughly 50 feet for temporary construction.
How deep are you going, Matt? Under the highway?
Very. Yeah, if you look on the right side, you see the profile. And the dash, the thin dash line, that's the profile of the road. It's a medium. Yes.
On the upper end, it didn't get, guess I'm just thinking about options that we may need to consider as we start talking with property owners.
Sure.
If we needed to avoid the homeowner property, could we? And if we needed to hug the property line more to satisfy Mr. Nisley, could we?
I'd have to look at our up near the homeowners association property there, that might be the stream crossing up there, the stream that's located there in the property line. So we would have to see the depth of the stream that has crossing. This line, we try to avoid having to cross the stream. This would be it.
You can see the stream now that you've been, okay.
So we potentially could, I think we would just have to cross it twice.
Yeah.
Once to get over Mr. Prentice's property, then back again. And I think as you look at we could look at hugging the property line as well. Where the manhole on Mr. Nissley's property in the bottom right corner on the plan view, that's about 15 feet deep. So I think there's potentially some area there we can shift that and make that more parallel to his property. We definitely have slope and depth to play with, so I think we can make that work.
Are you saying Hutch try to just run the line along the property line so we don't interfere with his property as much, and then maybe he won't give us as much of a hard time? Is that what you're thinking?
Well, yeah, not necessarily on the property line. I mean, however wide the easement would be, we have the entire easement on the property, but just try to avoid cutting across it on a diagonal.
Yeah.
To leave him more options in the future.
Yeah, just put manholes. That back.
Good.
You're in the setback area of the property anyhow, so it's really hurting any long term.
It's probably it's there. And then, stream through there, so you could cross the stream to do anything back there. I don't know what he would say. I guess if I were the property owner, I'd ask a question about that.
Yeah,
Boring.
The boring would be the same, just be behind the boring.
Okay, into that, yeah.
It make our pipe longer.
Sure.
But, you know, and then add a manhole or two. But just,
yeah,
I have no problem approaching him with this, and, you know, see how it goes, and, you know, we need to
Adjust
just want to think about what kind of questions might be asked.
Yeah, I think unfortunately on his property on the other side, on the western side of Route 30, there's already that existing sewer lane.
Yeah.
Easement that's there in the stream, and we're pretty limited with space on that side. And
Right.
I'm not sure what you can do with that property. Exists.
It would just be on the other side.
Yeah, I mean, if you want, I can come up with a revised alignment or option A, option B, if you want.
I just sort of, you know, keep it in mind, and I'm going in with, you know, an initial sort of our best design, see how he reacts.
Best to do that. Who's taking this?
it.
Volunteers? Oh, I see a volunteer.
You can voluntold.
You got a delegate.
So, that's easier.
You go there, you take no, here's Charlie.
I'll take Tara. I don't know.
There you go. Problem solved.
Yeah, we'll make contact with them in an appropriate way, and,
What if he refuses, just refuses?
yeah, I mean, ultimately, the authority would have the ability to take the easement, both temporary for construction and permanent easements. There's obviously expense and conflict that goes along with that, but that's the ultimate solution.
He doesn't get along with a lot of people, does he?
I'm not aware of.
You don't want to go to talk to him, Todd.
Aren't you his neighbor?
But no, I read the numbers here.
Aren't you his neighbor?
Rex actually lives pretty close to me, so that and mine would be the chairman. But
I just signed my name.
he might have, rumor is he might have gotten a little easier than years ago, but that might just be a rumor. Or
Yeah, we'll go with an open mind and do our best to explain it.
Thompson Road Sewer Rehabilitation Project?
Still working on obtaining quotes. This week we should have wastewater hoping to have some stuff back from those contractors in the next couple of weeks and present those to you at next month's meeting. I know there's definitely interest from contractors in the project. Just need to get enough the cost numbers. Down Run Pump Station Well Line Project. This is report to do that as authorized last month, and we asked make sure staff was comfortable with the contractor. So we did reach out from the USP to get some references, which they just supplied at end of day on Monday. Come to find out, they actually did a project through HRG. Something along this exactly. And I'll get some other authorities that haven't contacted them yet. But the contractor did state, they gave me some other information to support their work. They said they're the preferred vendor for this manufacturer. Yeah, we're a discount on the material that they supply is involved that's not applied to the other contractors. Material. They all have their spray, their own spray truck to supply the product, or does any other contractors have to look at? They view that their price would be significantly less than the other contractors.
They, they know where they're.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. They, you know, based upon this information. Right. That's what. If I get it. Okay. Quite, last month meeting, we set up account SEO was keeping up and speaking to Charlie earlier, he reported again. No, waiting for the third, I don't know anything else come back.
No, I'm waiting for it in writing. Just so we have something. Did talk about 188, which is the one on the corner that we found. He's supposed to be notifying them that they need to do something temporarily until we can get this line installed. Because right now it is known, so they need to do something. He told me they have enough room to put another mound in, so but they don't want to do that. They're going to hook up to public sewer. So some kind of temporary holding tank or something, pump it. I'd have to have further conversation with him to see if he notified them. But 157 verbally, he said everything's good.
So
Needed him writing.
we continue with our analysis, doing our calculations and such, but we haven't completed any like permitting documentation. We're just waiting for authority direction based upon the results of this. I may want to proceed with the project if we continue with our current limits, or if you're looking at a reduced scope of the project. So I put a table up there. What's in color, the imagery that we will see, which to the county initially for ARPA funds. What the project was envisioned then, and then what's in black and white with red. You know, the extent of the project all the way up to the 150.
So what we had heard was maybe a problem at 57, and basically because that we added 4 more properties on, is that? When you said that though, I think you mentioned you received the report of a failing system. Maybe I'm not smart enough to ask them. I just figured that was from the homeowner itself. And I thought, well, what homeowner is going to say he's got a failing system that doesn't? But I can't believe it wouldn't look more into it at the time when a neighbor calls about a failing system.
Yeah, the neighbor calls in, and his neighbor appears to, that area remains wet all the time. When enforcement officer went out, he said the area was dry, but the grass was covered. So I'm not a sewage enforcement officer, so I don't be looking for it qualified. That's why I thought it is right.
This is recently. This isn't what the neighbor originally called for.
When this first started,
Months ago. Months ago.
March, April timeframe. I think the SEO was just out in the past couple of weeks. A 151, 152. That's basically the crest of the hill on Strasburg Pike. So the previous conceptual designs, those houses were always intended to have a low pressure connection, even if it was designed to go towards the north. So when we're looking at the extension, if we had to go like 157, so well, do we just do that entire area that's low pressure now? That was the discussion that was had earlier this year.
You're proposing taking off 151, 52, 53, 54, and 57.
Initially, we went up to, it was 169, 164. That was the limit that was sent before the ARPA. If we were to go back to the original ARPA limits. That would be the
69.
If you don't do that properties met, will they have to, can they be put in another phase? Will they be able to accept gravity or would they have to be?
They would still have some point in the future.
Either to the south or to the north.
Right. I think 169 is the Valley property, which just, then they just upgrade their system. Sorry. Yeah.
They just,
Yeah, they just did a new system there. I don't know which address.
169 is Everett.
Oh,
They just put a new system in.
Is it 164 off the limit?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like,
We
wouldn't have-
put a stub in there as part of the
Yeah.
project, but they would not be required to connect. They pay whatever foot assessment is.
and these properties, now saying nothing's failing there.
We haven't, no, the SEOs only went out to look at 157 yet.
Did we talk to those people?
and in the meeting,
Some of them have attended the meetings. Yes. I think it's,
151 was definitely at one of the meetings.
I believe it was, I think it was a 152, 154. I think we're at meetings as well. Because, or it might have been 158. There's people that lived, I think, at 157 that moved across the street a few years ago.
Right.
Everyone talks about the vault or something that was,
That would be almost seven connections.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Great.
Am I wrong, guys? Didn't we make a decision to push it further because of the failing system that was at 157? Sure, it seems like there's not a failing system at 157. I mean, and the eight's what we got approved for the funds for, right? Is that when we, half of that?
correct, yeah, that was the documentation. That was to say these are the properties we were going to.
And is property 175 the multi-unit one?
That's right.
175 is the multi-unit. And that's the problem.
Well, that was the original motivation.
Yeah.
The one up there
And
on the
then
corner.
also here in
Yeah.
the corner there was bad.
Yes. Yeah, 175 currently has a holding tank in place and they're pumping out on a regular basis, so they're not living to the extent that 188 is right now.
So you're saying you could make reason to reduce the project to 175 of these? Just
Well, except for the ARPA funding,
The ARPA funding went up to one, it included 169.
Which was 8 total originally, is that right?
the ARPA funding included 169,
It showed 169 as having connected to the system. Yeah.
but not further than that.
Correct.
So
It's only 6 projects.
would that be, and 164 doesn't matter, we're just stubbing it, they're not going to connect, so.
well, they might decide that they want to connect, but.
That's true.
It's
I think
the fact that we can't.
175 was multiple EDUs, I think.
Right.
I'm sorry.
175 has multiple EDUs.
Yeah.
If we did the project only up to here, much, would it affect our funding?
Well, I guess we need to go back to the county and say, we're doing something less than we told you we were going to do.
If we stick with the 8, though, it shouldn't affect it at all, because that's what we submitted.
That's what we said.
I got half of that.
It was based upon, so suggest you do at least that much.
I agree.
I agree.
My only concern would be any of those other properties, 151 through 150, 161, that were at meetings and are now expecting sewer and are going to say they wanted sewer. I don't, for any reason, I don't know.
Well, I think if we decide to cut back the project,
Yeah.
then I think that we've got to send out a letter again to at least the people that we're going to eliminate and see this, again, trying to not spend their money, but let them know. I mean, unless they're adamant about getting hooked up, then we got to reevaluate it a little bit. Because we're forcing on some of these people, obviously, that they don't need it, but
I'm fine for cutting the project back, but I still think we got to contact those 8 property owners and just say, we may be scaling the project back. Is this going to be a burden on you?
I'm sorry, what was the last part?
Would it be a burden on you? In other words, were they
Expecting.
expecting the sewer or wanting the sewer?
Oh, for the ones that
we're
would
getting
be
eliminated.
eliminated from the project, yeah, we can ask.
Because you don't know. I mean,
It'll certainly cost more in the future, for all of them to get sewers installed when,
Right.
at the time, because they're all gonna need it at some point.
right.
Can be explained to them in that letter, I mean, if you want to opt out, this is our plan, to reduce the project and.
I would give an option to say we're exploring the opportunity of limiting the construction. If your property is not included at this phase at this time, would that be a burden?
Just ask them if they would prefer that their property be included now.
Yeah.
I think that's well put that way. I mean, it's looking at options. Yeah.
Give me an option, and then if they're all okay with being in the supposed phase 2 that doesn't even have a date, fine. And then I'm all for cutting aside the project. That makes sense.
I just about the fact the only reason we increased it is because we heard of a failing system.
Exactly, now that there's new information.
Yeah.
And, okay, so the neighbor that ratted 157, is that neighbor right beside? And is that a neighbor issue, or do we even want to get involved?
That's a civil matter.
Yeah. So you're going to send Tara again?
I think at this point, the town of SEO investigated it.
So just asking the question, we send these letters out and 151 comes back and says, yeah, I really want to have sewers. And so we're gonna have to run it past all the other ones that.
Well, then they would
don't
all,
want it.
then they would all, I mean, they would all have to connect.
I think we look at what we get, what input we get.
Because at that point, you have a reason, there's a reason why you're extending the sewer line.
Sure. Okay.
Because at the end of the day, we don't want failing systems.
What Hutch is saying is you're gonna have one person that forces that extension, and what Todd is saying is, let's get back all the information and then make a decision.
I'd keep it a little vague in the letter on the decision we're gonna make, and let's maybe.
Okay, I can see that.
And then make a decision, then we decide it. I think at least the one on the far end was one that was here that didn't want it. I don't think we had anybody that really wanted it, unless at any of the meetings. Did we?
I think there was, perhaps it was a 152, I don't know if it was a,
And a couple that was at the last meeting,
yeah,
I think they bought into, yeah.
They bought into it, but I don't think they thought they had a choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, the gentleman didn't want it. He said he spent money on his new system not too long ago.
That was like 18 years ago.
But not fresh.
And wasn't it his neighbor that, and I think she just realized, you know, the sewage going into the ground is not a good thing, and I think she just thought it would be better for the environment and everything else, so. Which is true. I mean, there isn't a septic system out there that's really good for the environment.
It's getting into the groundwater at some point.
It's not the stuff that we put down our drains today. Because it's not just sewage, it's everything else.
Right.
And it gets into the ground.
Okay. We'll do that. I don't know if we'll have answers back for you by next month, but we'll do it.
Was that gonna put any of the design on hold, or is it just because you'd be designing it for a future extension?
we did the hydraulic analysis, developed a hydraulic model that said, how's the system gonna operate based upon full extent? Basically, we would just take off, you know, whatever limit that would be. I don't think it's gonna change any of the pipe sizes. It's not gonna
Do you
change.
need a certain flow to make that siphon work?
No, there's enough, well, we do need a certain flow, but that's why we look and say, you know, with the pumps that are there, with each specific house, like what would be the worst case scenario?
You still have the flow.
Yeah, I mean, they giving us 70, 175 is the first connection. That one is such little ahead of it, it's gonna put in a little flow, it's gonna flush that line out.
In my interpret, did anybody else interpret that? Did you guys realize it was a neighbor that had complained about it, or did you think it was a property owner? Did I just miss that back in the day?
I didn't know where the complaint came from. I just heard there was a failing system.
Yeah, I reported that there was a complaint. That there was a neighbor system. He sent me a picture. I'd have to dig the email. But, yeah, there's.
Is that also the neighbor that talked favor about sewer and not putting your stuff into the ground? Like 2 months.
And I don't see that it makes much difference. Just gonna
Yeah.
go from this step forward.
I think wherever I think from a design aspect, we were looking at designing the system, so you have an air valve that would be up around 151, 152 at the top of the hill. That would no longer be there. So we'd look at probably relocating that structure down to wherever that new terminus would be. 160, around 160 in that area there. So you'd have a structure there that would give you a point that you could then extend from at some point in the future to go further. That's the right steps.
Is there any other old business in the sanitary sewer? stormwater pipe inspection.
Yes, so as you're aware, we have had pipe inspections going on the last 2 years, so I'm going to share some of the pictures that we have from those inspections. This is along Buckwalter Road, and you can see the thin portions of the pipe there. Now, these are just screenshots. If we want to watch video, I can play video, but that will take some time.
And that's a corrugated metal pipe.
It's corrugated metal pipe.
Yeah, so you're seeing the stone.
Yeah, where's that? They're showing the ceiling, the,
That's the floor, that's the flow line,
I'm sorry, what-
that's the flow line.
or
Yes.
out in the meadow.
On the roadway.
What do you do? How do you, okay, now that one would be,
Stumptown Road.
Yeah, that would be a dig up and replace that.
There's no line.
root pushing that in, or is that a,
Maybe. I think some of the area when you get to it, it looks like it was just filled. Whether there was inspections on, pipe been in there, but some of the pipe that you'll see, there's not stone base that it's not built with the stone that we use now. It's just whatever they dug out. So probably inspect everything now, nothing bigger than 6 inches goes at the ditch, after it's pumped with 2-8 modified or something.
That first image you saw there with it corroded out. The question, yeah, you can line through that. The question is what a cured place line like we use on the sanitary side. But the unknown factor is there any soil or stone that surrounds that pipe? Because the bottom of the PVC pipe or the metal pipe, the way they're designed is it takes the load, the load coming down from the top and spreads that load out circumferentially around the pipe to the surrounding soil to keep it in place. So it's not a rigid pipe. So if you don't have any soil or the soil is eroded away from the bottom of it, there's nothing to push it against. So you're going to get that pipe to collapse over time. So
what's that a picture of?
That's a picture of storm pipe on Willow Road.
I'm sorry, which pipe
A storm pipe?
that goes under what it's gonna be replaced? No, it's not a storm pipe,
That's concrete culvert.
box culvert.
This is another storm sewer.
It's a complete failure.
It's right at a joint because you can see under at the bottom of the screen, it's 34.94 feet. They come in 20-foot lengths, so you're right near a joint. It looks like it just failed out. And of course, the big stones and everything in there, the rocks and
And that's across Buckwater Road, I assume that's a town.
that was on Willow.
Willow Road Township Road.
There, the pipe's completely gone.
No bottom.
No bottom on Greenfield Road.
Not sure what area of Greenfield this is coming from.
Greenfield Road is a township road? Is it?
The only part
Is the township doing all that work on the underpass?
Yeah.
As Amtrak. Oh, because they're only working above, they're not working.
Well, UGI is going to be working underneath. Where
Say they got stuff dug out.
the few months ago. I think final, that was just temporary.
How old do you think that pipe is?
Greenfield. No,
Yes. Part that's left.
Yeah, whatever. Birthday stamped on it anyway.
Colonial Village. You can see it's existent there as well. Hempstead.
When did they stop putting in corrugated pipe? Ooh. Is that plastic?
This is,
If you watch the video, it's, they type in what type is the size of the pipes. I'm not sure which one that is.
That looks like black plastic.
I think this was plastic.
You asked about when they stopped using the CMP pipe. My guess, 25 years?
Still.
It's still, yeah, but a lot of.
It is still-
The 83 project.
Yeah.
Sure, new developments, it's going, it's the smooth line. It's quite.
It's not leaking. So what's cool?
So this
That's
along
collapsing.
Hempstead is collapsing.
Yeah.
Right, this is not one pipe that leads to two.
And then where you're missing, it's not.
It leads to two. This is one pipe that's collapsed and
And the ones where the bottoms are rotted, you're losing all your support on the sides.
Structurally, I'm less concerned about that one and that one. That's
this is our.
That's just something, anything is caving in, that's just gonna get worse.
That's on Pitney Road, somewhere in the area of Mill Cross, near that intersection.
24 to 36 inch corrugated metal pipe.
Yeah, it's a squash pipe because of the
Oh,
cover.
24 by 36, got it. Hmm.
From this inspection, will we be preparing like a database of some kind that'll share with us how many pipes are out there that are collapsed or missing or something?
It's already in progress.
So this is the type of thing that then you can prioritize, if you could budget so many dollars per year and.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
I got a little new business, sanitary sewer coverage marketplace, retaining wall and sewer easement.
We told you about this a little bit last month.
Yes.
Since that time, we've met again with the property owner, their engineer and council. And had discussions about the project and try to find a way to move forward together. Conceptually, their engineer was putting together a plan to relocate the stream bank away from your sanitary easement. They didn't really want to do that because they were concerned about additional permitting and costs associated with it. Even though possible that the actual construction would be less expensive than building the wall that they had originally proposed. So we had township engineers look at it with the thought of, you know, if we did a stream relocation and did some additional stream bank improvement, you know, could we get some MS4 credits out of a project at the same time that we're protecting the sanitary sewer, moving the erosion away from their trail, which is what they want, and get some credits. So that's the direction we're headed at this point in time, that actually the township would take over the project and do it essentially the same way we did it with.
And can the township get stream relocation permitting easier than an individual?
Well, I don't know about that. they said the same thing, that, you know, maybe the township would get a quicker response on a DEP, and I think
I would hope so.
it's not been an experience. So, we'll move it along as fast as we possibly can, to try and, you know, reduce the amount of additional erosion. We think this is a better approach to it.
Well, how did that happen at Hack? I mean. The stream bed,
In places, yes.
and you just have to engineer it and draw it, and DEP approves it, or,
Yes, eventually, we would expect.
I mean, is that the process?
Sounds easy.
Yeah, we have to
I
design.
know it's not that easy, I'm just saying, is that the
In
process?
general terms, that's exactly what would happen. The only difference in this particular case is that we would be asking the property owner to contribute financially to the project, which Hack did not do. In this case, again, because we'd be doing their work instead, and, you know, we would hope that they would contribute essentially what they had told us they were planning to spend on the wall
Right,
anyway.
right.
So we've opened up that discussion with them, and we hope that that becomes the resolution to everybody's concerns there.
Good.
So we would get some credits out of the project, is what you're saying, Touch.
Right. In addition to keeping the erosion away from your sewer pipe and easement, saving their trail and fence, and we get some credits out of it. So it would be a somewhat larger project. It would, you know, go farther on that stream than just doing the wall, but we think it'd be worth it. We need roughly this amount of credits to finish improvements that's in place right now, so.
Good, okay.
Any other new business under sanitary sewer?
It's one, potentially two items just for discussion. With the requisitions that can be done, the fund, the 2016 project fund, and the 2019 project fund held at Fulton Bank, those accounts. 2015 is at $0, 2019 he depleted to $0. So the 1985 indenture requires an altered certificate be submitted to the Fulton Bank, indicating that you request to close those accounts. Next one meeting is certificates are in your board packet if you wish to review them, but it'd be for action at the next meeting. This, if on this day,
That's what we got.
yes.
We can take now, though,
Understood.
without,
We need to be on your.
is that it, Matt?
Yes. Yep.
New business under stormwater? None. Other business? Public comment? Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Aye.